Hi, welcome back to my channel. This is Jennifer Scrapping Cane. Today I'm sharing a color cast designs layout as I'm part of the design team for the next 3 months. This is also using my kit conspiracy kit that I put together, and it is using Hidden Creek from Arden, and I'm also putting in paper from 49 and Market, and then there is another paper that is from Close to My Heart, I believe. I believe I'll flip it over and show it. The acrylic piece I'm using today is So Very Handsome. And then I have the bits and pieces, which are stars and hearts. I'm going to pull out black stars. I end up putting two, maybe three black stars on the layout. I know the one that is empty, it doesn't have a star in it. It doesn't make it on the layout, but I think the other three do. Maybe only two of them. Either way, you'll see when I add those to the layout. But I did go ahead and take those out of the package, and that's what I plan on using for my acrylic. This is also acrylic stash busting. I believe Nicole will have a layout up today for acrylic stash busting. I'll have a link down below to her layout. I have a cute photo of my nephew and his two sons. They're so cute. They're in their little cowboy hats and boots like their dad, and they are out with him getting wood. And you can see the wood pile behind him. So that's why I picked this particular paper. I have these negatives from 49 in Market, and this one here is actually going to fit perfectly over the photo. And then I have a few acetate leaves. Those are also from 49 in Market. The negative pieces that I put over to the left-hand side are from 49 in Market. I'm only going to end up using one of them, but at the time I wasn't sure if I was going to use the brown one or the green one. But I do only end up using one of them. But when I'm pulling out things at the beginning, I always pull out more than what I'm actually probably going to use. This layout ends up being pretty much monochromatic in the green family. So I use lots of different greens on this layout to make it all come together, mixed with brown. And I have this, like, all these little pieces here came from the Hidden Creek laser cuts. They were very delicate, so I had to be very careful pulling those out. This little branch that's kind of looks like a rope is from 49 and Market, and then that was an acetate dragonfly that actually doesn't make it on the layout. I believe only end up using the butterflies on the layout. I have a little label piece there that reads something. I will tell you what it reads when I put it down. I thought I was going to be able to use these little acetate rectangles. I end up not using those. I go a different route, and I end up actually not having as much room as I thought I was going to have. So I end up not using those. This green paper here actually doesn't make it to the layout after all. And then I have these rub-ons from 49 and Market. None of the rub-ons actually make it on the layout either. You'll see why in the end. I really end up with less room than I thought I was going to have, and that's the reason why mainly. I love the back side of this paper and the front side, so I am going to incorporate both sides at least a little bit. This green one here, I actually decide not to use after all. I end up just putting it to the side and using just this wood grain one here. But you can see, like I'm pointing out, the wood pile in the background. And then I thought this wood paper looked really cool to use as part of the layout. So I'm going to get started on the layout. And first I'm going to put that frame around the photo. So that's how I'm going to frame the photo at first. And then I will add it onto this black, or it's not black. It's like a taupe color frame or matting that's going to go around it. So it's going to be double matted basically, but the negative is on top of it. And like I said, it fits perfectly on the photo. So I tore the sides. I tore both the left and the right. And I want to put it down, but I don't want to push it all the way down just yet. And then I decide, well, maybe I should go ahead and just add these on because they are very thin. But I want all of them to be added on the left and the right. So I added on the green strip first that I flipped over, and that's the piece that I actually tore off. So when I tore them off, I went ahead and kept them so I could add them on the layout. I'm going to use a little bit of liquid glue to put this one on because it's a little bit skinnier. They definitely were tricky to get them to stick back on since they're not very thick, but they work out in the end. This paper is 8 by 8, so tearing off that piece made it, just a little bit smaller. And then I want the wood just to peek out from behind it. And this side here, in a minute, I will pull it back off and readjust it because I actually did not leave enough of the wood showing for me. I wanted it to show a little bit more like the left-hand side. And at first I don't notice that, so I'm going to pull it back off and put it back down. And then it works out perfectly. So that's how I'm pretty much going to put the background together. I am going to bring in the negative pieces here in a minute. And I ended up going with the green one, and then I backed it with the same like taupe colored paper that I did the photo mat on the photo. And I cut that one in half. I used my decal edge scissors to cut the top and the bottom, and then I added it right on the back of the layout, tucked in. And then I'm going to add the 2 acetate leaves. I'm adding 2 on the left, 2 on the right. Again, pretty much whatever I do to the right, I'm going to do to the left in some fashion. It might not be exactly the same, but at this time, I'm just trying to make them mirror each other. So I did use liquid glue to put the acetate pieces down, and once it dries, you really can't see it. Plus, I was able to tuck it under the under the papers, so you really can't tell how it's attached to the layout. The photo here I'm going to place pretty much right in the middle, a little bit more down than up. And then I'm going to take this little circled branch that kind of looks like a rope and place it right here on the side. It's kind of hosting a little place for the title, but it's also just kind of playing into the design of the layout. So that little negative piece that I cut off, the top part of the negatives, I went ahead and added it back in right underneath, or the left and the right side of the photo, down at the bottom. These little flowers, I don't believe I showed in the beginning. Maybe I did. Either way, I'm going to add a larger one on this side, covering up part of the rope, and then that ticket, and then another little leaf, and then there's another little leaf, and I'm just tucking it in. And pretty much I'm just tucking them in until I think they look good. And then over here on this side, I tucked in another little, like, taller leaf branch, and then one of the little flowers that's like brown. And then I'll also bring in another one of those green leaf ones with the white flowers on it. And I just think they're so cute because it kind of shows, out in nature. You can see if you look towards the back part of the photo, also, you can see the green grass and stuff behind them. Um, there definitely isn't a whole lot of greenery in the area that they live. They're in Nevada. So, but they are in the more mountain area, so they get snow and stuff like that where they're at. So it's not like desert Nevada. But I just keep tucking it in until I like what I see, and then I stop. And I did add the 3 little hearts at the bottom also. I thought that was just cute for a father and 2 sons. And then up at the top, I put a little label that says "A Little Adventure," and then the little brown one says "Memories." And then I'm also going to tuck in some leaves up there also. I went ahead and added my acrylic piece down here at the bottom. And again, that says "So Very Handsome," and that is back in stock. It was sold out, but Jessica refilled it in black. She also has it in green, blue. I believe that's it. There's green and like a bluish color. And one of them does come in the monthly box for April, but it's a different color than this one. but I went with the black one because I think it just helps pop the photo a little bit more. I do plan on using the other one, I believe that one's like a blue color, and I'm going to use that one for one of my sons. But I thought this one was kind of cute on this layout with this cute photo of the boys. So here I have the butterflies, and I'm popping up their wings with a little bit of dimensional tape. And again, that's just my little thing to do with butterflies. I see quite a few people do that. I like the way that it looks. I'm going to use sequins to put in little butterfly trails, and you'll see here in a minute, I'm going to actually switch out the butterfly or the sequence size for the top ones. But at first, I added the stars. Sorry. I added the stars first. Now I'm adding sequins. And I did end up adding all three of the stars around the layout. And then I'm adding sequins down here at the bottom, right next to So Very Handsome. I added a green, a white, and a black. And then I'm going to add a little butterfly trail here on the first butterfly to the right. And then I will add some at the top and some on the left. And again, I just kind of like to do that. If I'm using sequence on the layouts and there's butterflies on the layouts, usually I will add sequence for the trail instead of doing marker dash marks or stitching. Every once in a while, I'll go ahead and stitch the lines in for the butterfly, but very rarely. I just don't enjoy stitching on layouts. It's not my thing. So usually I'll use sequins or I'll just use my Sharpie to fill in the little butterfly trail. But you can see up there at the top, I did have to switch to different sequins to get a little bit smaller sequins for up there at the top. But they're the same colors. So that is it. I hope you guys enjoyed today's pretty much monochromatic layout in using black, browns, and greens. And cute little photo, nice little masculine layout. And I will see you guys in the next video. I hope you guys will join me to see what I create in May. If you could please like and subscribe, that would help me out here on YouTube. And also, I will have down below a link to Color Cast Designs. Check out her acrylic pieces. She has quite a few traveling ones out for May, and I will be back in May using those acrylic pieces. Thanks, guys. Bye.